There is playing and there is practicing, and these two realities for a musician are parallel realities, and the number one reason I see where people get stuck is when they conflate them. I see this with my students constantly. Constantly. Makes you want to choke a bitch. So this is what I suggest you do. Separate them in your mind. The mistake is this: you don't practice when you play, and you don't play when you practice. It's very simple. What is playing? Playing is when it's too late to practice. You're in a situation, you're there with the guitar, hopefully people are watching you, what you do matters. You need to close your eyes or open them or do whatever relaxes you and have fun. It's all about having fun when you're playing. When you're playing, you only have access to one knob, and that knob is called anxiety. And you can crank it to 10, and it's totally up to you, but you're not going to sound any better. You're going to sound much worse. If you think about what you should have done, what you don't know, what you wish you could have been while you're playing, you are really doing yourself a disservice, and also to everybody who's watching you. People do not want to see an anxious person who's insecure and in his own head. So what I suggest is when it's time to play, you shut the fuck up, you go internal, and you really try to have fun and do a good job and just destroy that chatter that's in your head. Turn it off. Now, what is practicing? Practicing is when you sit down in your room alone and problem solve. The connection that practicing has to playing is that you need to remember the points where you think you fucked up, or you did a bad thing, hit a bad note, played a bad rhythm, didn't know a chord change. And then you take that and you try to work it out. You don't need practice routines. I never had one. I don't believe in them. You should do what's interesting to you, and you should constantly be in a state of working on it. But playing is really the arena where you test out the hypothesis of your practice, right? You think that this is going to help. You go out to play and you see, did it help? If the answer is no, 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 you're practicing the wrong shit. And the things you practice have no impact on your playing. So when you're practicing, you just need to sit down and re-strategize and think about different ways of approaching this problem-solving kind of mentality, right? I don't play fast enough. Maybe my right hand is fucked up, right? Or I don't know what to play on this. Maybe your harmonic knowledge is lacking. This rhythm sounds so alien to me. Maybe you need to listen to people who play that rhythm. What you don't want to do is turn on a looper or backing tracks on your computer and go in the zone and pretend that you're like, you know, John Mayer in your room and play for 2 hours and be like, well, that was productive. It wasn't. You're just noodling. You know, that's not practice. Practicing feels fucking awful sometimes. If you're really working out a new area of the instrument, trying to teach yourself a mode of harmonic major right around the 9th fret, you know, it feels like you're like being waterboarded, like somebody dunked your head inside of a pond and you're just there like gasping for air. You know, it's a horrible feeling, the not knowing. But if you do it enough, you sort of get used to it, and it's kind of like going to the gym. You start enjoying the burn, right? It's not as unpleasant the more familiar you are with how it feels. So don't be scared of it. Sit down and really strategize about your next step. Real practice at its core requires you to be able to look at the mirror and be honest about where you are with your progress, and then be smart enough to calculate your next step. If you know a major scale, learn a melodic minor scale. If you know a melodic minor scale, learn a harmonic minor scale. If you know all that, try to put it together, try to play a tune, try to write a tune. I don't know what your problem is. You should know what your problem is. You need to reflect deeply, come up with something that makes sense, and then come up with a strategy of solving it. Then go out and play, and then after you had fun, hopefully, ask yourself, well, what were the most fucked up things that happened that night? And then address those in your next practice session. I hope this helps. Subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment, join our Patreon. There's a ton of content, so be sure to check out this channel deeply, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.